back. We gonna get an opening statement this week, Coach?
Whenever y'all are ready.
Coach, slower start for the defense this past week against North Texas. I guess what did you see kind of going wrong in the beginning? How did you kind of correct that for those middle quarters?
Yeah, well, I think the big thing for us, kind of all year is being able to play solid in the middle. We've talked a lot about through the course of the year being great in the middle eight, the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. But we've been able to do a good job with our players making adjustments on the run, things like that, and being able to finish. Ultimately what I talked to them about at length yesterday was just the disappointment really in the first 2 drives and the last 2 drives. Those were the things that I really wanted to focus on with our group, and just talking about needing to make sure that we kind of reset our standard and being able to make sure that we understand what our focus has got to be. My hat's off to our players and to our defensive staff about the focus that we've been able to kind of maintain. The challenge is how do we take the next step? I think that there's been a lot of growth throughout the year. I think that we've improved dramatically, as a unit, and I think we've got a lot of individual players that have improved their units, and I'm really proud of that. But we got to figure out how to take the next step and really go from what you feel like is a defense that's gone from being a good defense to a really good defense, and now we want to really take that next step to be an elite. And so we had to focus on the first 2 drives and the last 2 drives, and those were the disappointing pieces to me.
Coach, last week you kind of talked to us about the big don't break mentality, them up behind with 30 seconds left in the half. You guys hold them to a field goal and they're on first and goal. How impressive was that, and what did you see from your group in that moment?
Yeah, well, we try to go through and talk about situational football a lot, and that's a good example of it where, at the end of the day, those are always our job. We've talked a lot about each game, kind of what we feel like equals success for us as a team, and what our job is to do is to try to, again, get takeaways, make teams kick field goals, be great on third down, and be great in the red area. So we spend a large amount of our time with that. That particular situation was one, obviously, where you're coming right back. You've had one play, and I thought our guys did a great job of being able to manage it and being able to keep us at a point in the game where we felt like we could go into halftime and have a really strong second half to move forward with. So I was really proud of them.
We talked about the star makers, star players throughout the year.
Right.
Donut's become one of those star players, like Tyson just said, because of some of those other guys doing the dirty work. It's a big part of it. What have you seen from Donut this year and his growth that's allowed him to have some of that success?
Sure. Well, first of all, Donut is one of the smartest players I've ever been around. He has natural instincts, and has a great awareness for what he's doing. His range is so high. He plays defensive end for us in a lot of our situations. He plays outside linebacker. He's been playing inside linebacker in a lot of our defenses the last couple of weeks. Like Coach said, he may rush the center, he may rush the guard, he may rush the tackle. He may have a one-on-one on a back in coverage. He had a big third down stop 2 weeks ago for us in coverage. He plays zone, he plays match, he plays man. So he does a wide range of things. And to add on to what Coach was saying, I think the improvement in our defensive line play, I really want to give Coach Baker a lot of credit. Our defensive line, and in particular, when you watch with Darius Shipp and Broderick, have just really improved throughout the year, and I thought our defensive line played well. Saturday, building off of the UAB game, particularly Darius Shipp, and so a lot of those guys, and their ability to play a lot of different fronts, give us the ability to let guys like Donut, and in some cases Derek, be able to play a lot of different positions, and I think that creates matchup issues for the offense and protection issues, and so they've been able to make the most with those opportunities. Big sack for him the other day, coming off the left-hand side here into the boundary, and he continues to make big plays. I'm continue to be proud of him.
Coach, I know you mentioned a little bit about this, but the majority of the season seems like you guys get a bunch of stops right away. Maybe the offense may be a little bit slow. Swings will make it back to you guys. Didn't happen this week, but how important is it to get that defense going and maybe giving that boost to the offense potentially with the defensive
So.
Well, I mean, football overall, to be good on defense, you got to be emotional, and you want to be able to be tactical and you want to be able to be smart with what you're doing. But it's easy to see when we're playing at a high emotion, and that's a good emotion, and we're having fun. We're pretty fun to watch. I know for me we are, and so we want to talk about being able to play with great emotion. We want to be able to talk about playing with all those things. And at the end of the day, our job is to get stops, and whether that's a 3 and out, whether that's to make them kick a field goal. We've done a great job this year of being able to create and get takeaways. And some of those have been at big times, and sometimes we're, a yard short or 2 steps short of being able to get one that would have changed the game for us. So we're very aware of those things. Those are things we talk about all the time, and we want to create and build momentum all the time. I think our players, because of the success that we've had with the takeaways and because of the success we've had, not only getting the ball back to our offense, but scoring touchdowns this year defensively, I think they feel like at any point in time we can flip the game, and I think they have a lot of confidence in that, and hopefully we can continue to do that in the next, 4 weeks.
Looking at Charlotte, veteran quarterback, a lot of good skill guys. What's the scouting report on that?
Yeah, the quarterback, like you said, he's a 5-year starter, 3-time captain. I mean, I don't know how many of those there are every decade in the entire country. So he's a really, really good player. They're somewhere in the top 25 to 35 in the country in passing offense. They do a great job with their drop back passes. He does a great job with the RPOs, being able to scan the field, being able to understand what the coverages are pre-snap, and being able to get the ball where it needs to be. So I think he is a dynamic player and playing his best ball right now. The running back position for them, they are running back by committee, but they do a really nice job in the run game all the way around between the running backs and the offensive line. I know the offensive line coaches become the interim head coach and the offensive coordinator. They are in sync with the running backs and the offensive line and what they're trying to do there. They do a really nice job with their packages and their plays that they put together with that. The tight end position, they play 3 guys. One is very much of a truer Y for us, and they've got 2 guys that they kind of sub in and out, but they can be in a 2 tight end formation or 2 tight end personnel and being 4 wides in their pictures. They can be in empty. Then they can create, 12 personnel pictures, 11 personnel pictures, 10 personnel pictures, and run and throw. So the tight ends are really good, and the problems that they create and some of the mismatches they can create. The receivers, the 3 starters are all conference guys. Very, very talented, can take the roof off, and they're guys that we've got to be prepared for. Very similar, remind me very similarly to UTSA and the fact of how those guys move and their top end ability and their capacity. So they have going to be a big challenge for us all the way across the board. Like Coach said earlier, I think that they really played at a high level Saturday versus a good Rice defense, and I thought they created explosive plays, both running, throwing, and again, I think, what you saw was the quarterback, the receivers, and the offensive line all being able to kind of play at their highest level of the year. So it'll be a big challenge for us.
Anything else for Coach Summers?
All right, thank y'all.